Live.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday to you and your families. I hope everyone is doing well as we're going through these unimaginable times due to this COVID-19 pandemic. I'd first like to start by giving you some of the latest statistics. I was talking to our health director, Mike Crespin, this morning. I wanted to get you the numbers that we have as of the date today. Being March 28th. So with that being said, these are confirmed lab cases. In the state, we have 1,291 confirmed cases, 173 hospitalizations statewide. Litchfield County has 52 cases confirmed, and New Milford has 12 cases confirmed. One is, as we believe, there's only one that has been hospitalized. The rest have been self-quarantined. As we continue to get additional information, I will update the public on those as well. I'd also like to talk about Governor Lamont. I've been on many numerous calls that the governor has had, as well as his team, and want to go over some of the highlights that the governor has done this past week. The first one is he has changed the recommendation from congregating. Before we had 10 people or less could congregate. The governor now has recommended and suggested that we go to 5. So that's 5 people can congregate in areas, and that's just for social distancing. And his recommendation is to go to 5. So if you can, limit any kind of congregations to 5 people or less, and then keep the social distancing, as we all know, at 6 feet or more when being around people. The next is the governor had his Stay Safe, Stay at Home initiative. And some of those things I just want to highlight that he had expressed as well is really no non-essential gatherings. So that's anything such as, for any size, such as parties, celebrations, or any social events. So if those you could postpone, that would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, during these pandemic times, the less that we can congregate, the better. Also, if you must leave home, do not travel in groups. Obviously, if you're traveling in the same vehicle, the same car, you're not going to be within that 6-foot range. So it's recommended, if you at all possibly can, do not drive and travel in groups. Also talks about limiting outdoor recreational activities. So getting our exercise, getting our vitamin D from the sun is very important. But if you could keep that to a limit, and if you could practice that where you're not doing it in social gatherings, if it's you or your family, and if it's with your family, stay 6 feet apart from one another. But to go in and as groups do these activities, that kind of disrupts what we're looking to do, which is keep that social distance. With that being said, we have with the Parks and Recs Commission and our health director, Mike Crespin, we've closed our basketball courts, we've closed the tennis courts, and the playgrounds and the skateboard park, all in efforts to keep that social distance. We had noticed that a lot of congregation was going on in those areas, and we want to limit that so that we can make sure we're practicing those social distancing. This weekend we'll also be touring the parks that we have: Sega Park, Clatter Valley, Carlson's Grove, Addis Park, all the parks, Len Deming, and just monitoring to make sure that people keep their safe distances. One thing that we don't want to do is close the parks, but in fact, if it ends up being where we have them overrun, then we would be limiting those or closing those. So we want to make sure that if you do go, you keep the proper social distance, you do your exercise, and then if you could go back to your home, that way other people can use those as well, as we don't want to overrun our parks. We will be checking on those this weekend, and I will be updating you on our social sites as well. The governor also added different business closures, and he put the closures into 2 groups. Those would be those that are what we consider essential groups to continue to conduct business in Connecticut and here in New Milford, and those that are non-essential. So the governor put the essential groups into 11 different classifications, and some of them obviously are retail, construction. I can go through the list a little bit. Some of them are as civil preparedness, manufacturing to supply the chain sources. We have liquor stores, agricultural, manufacturers, pharmacies, pet and manufacturing, agricultural supply stores, restaurants and bars, but restaurants and bars can only serve food, and they can either only do it as pickup, delivery, or curbside. So again, that's only pickup, delivery, or curbside. And for those that have been helping our restaurant businesses here in New Milford, I can't thank you enough that you're continuing to order and keeping those businesses afloat. So we can't thank you enough. If at all possible, if you don't feel comfortable ordering, if you could do a gift card, anything that you possibly can do to help our small business, especially our restaurant community, that would be a wonderful endeavor. And I can't thank everybody enough for doing so. My family as well has been out. I've been going to different restaurants and will continue to do so, all in support of our business community, especially the restaurant community. So I can't thank them enough. Also, New Milford schools, the governor has ordered them to be closed by the earliest, meaning the earliest time they could ever reopen would be the 21st of April. In speaking with the governor and with his team, they are reassessing this on a daily basis, and we'll have more information as we continue to get to that April 20th date. So we'll have more information on that. The superintendent has put out her information when it concerns different things. For instance, the school, as the kids are not in school, they're doing distance learning. They started that this week. So I'd like to thank all of the teachers and the students as we're doing something new here in New Milford and learning different things. There will be some glitches along the way, but we're making this endeavor, and I cannot thank all those involved on the Board of Education side for bringing this educational experience to our students to continue on. Even though it's a challenge, we're trying to work through those, and I can't thank them enough and continue to do so. So thank you. Another thing is also the governor talked about different business initiatives that he's put forward. Mr. Lehman, who's our Connecticut Economic Development Commissioner, has been on numerous calls with our economic development directors and also our first selectmen and mayors, and talked about different initiatives, loans, and grants that the state will be providing, as well as the federal government will be providing. For those people that are interested, please contact our economic development director, and we'll push those out. Her email address is kpollard, that's the letter K, and then POLLARD at newmilford.org, and her phone number is, her cell phone is 860-488-0492. Any questions that you have, if you own a small business or you're a 1099 employee, what that means is you're someone that works for somebody. For instance, you're a hairstylist and you rent a chair from the beauty salon, or you are a contracted employee. There's opportunities in the state of Connecticut, so please give Karen Pollard a call. We're working through trying to reach all of our businesses. We'll be fully focused on that. We started it this week. We'll be adding even some more personnel to that next week as well, to see if we can assist any of our businesses here in New Milford, because we're here to help you. And you are a very valued and important part of our community, as long as with all of our residents and all of our other parts of our community too. It's a big fabric of our community. So I thank our business community as we're going through these tough times. Also, what we've done in New Milford so far is just New Milford itself. As I talked about before, we've closed the basketball, town playground, skateboard parks for social distancing. We are going to be monitoring the parks this weekend. I will then be in touch with the Parks and Recs Commission, and we'll see if we need to make any adjustments there. But the focus also is to get exercise if you can. Keep your social distance. and that's 6 feet apart from one another. But do get out and try to get some exercise. It is very important, not only for your physical body, but your mental well-being as well. Also, what we've done is we partially opened our EOC command. So that's our Emergency Operation Command. So that command is our command officer, which is Jim Furlow, his assistant, which is Kevin Reynolds, our Department of Health Director, Mike Crespin, Chief of Police, Chief Ceruto, and myself. So we partially opened that. We've been having talks with not only our department heads, but also New Milford Hospital, the ambulance, V&A, all hosts of our private community as well, and assessing and reassessing on almost an hourly basis the needs of our community, and we will continue to do so with that. Also, we are looking at providing town services to our constituency, so we're continuing on a limited basis to serve you, the public, as New Milford Town Government. So some of the things I spoke last week is we have closed our municipal offices to appointment only. So you need to call, make an appointment, and we can see if we can get you in there. Some of the departments have limited their hours to the public, and this is all in trying to meet that social distancing requirement that we all know needs to happen. So if you do need to speak to some of our departments, please call and schedule an appointment. Also, what we've done on Town Hall 2 is I can't thank our facilities department enough. They continue to go into our buildings, continue to do the deep cleaning that's needed for making sure that we sanitize our departments and our buildings for COVID-19, and I can't thank our facility departments enough for doing that. So thank you, and we'll continue to do so. Also, in keeping town meetings together with the new orders that the governor had, he's allowed us to do what's called remote meetings. So prior to that, we'd have a meeting where you'd come into Town Hall, or you go into the Pettibone Building, or 25 Church Street. You would have the meeting set up, you'd have the commission there, you'd have public input, and then they would conduct their business. With the social distancing and limiting of people that can be in rooms, he's allowed us to do the remote meetings. We've been working on those, testing those out. Next week we're going to implement them. We're going to be using WebEx, and we'll have more to come on that, but it will allow you, the public, to provide input as you should, and also view our town meetings, as we're going to continue to try and move the town forward during this COVID pandemic, but keep it safe for all those that are volunteering and our staff as well, because we want to make sure that our staff is healthy, our volunteers are healthy, and you, our residents, are healthy as well. Also, as far as the budget, there's been a lot of conjecture on where we are in the budget process and how does the budget move forward. So first, kind of where we are in the budget. So the budget, the mayor's recommendation went to the town council. The town council made their recommendation and then moved it over forward to the Board of Finance. And then the Board of Finance will be holding a remote public hearing on that. And then as of that, I've been in consultation with our town attorney, our voter registrars, our Board of Finance Chairman, Walter O'Connor, and we're trying to figure out, per the governor's order, what is going to be the best avenue that we can to assure input from the public. With the governor's order, it's kind of made it difficult for us to do what we would normally do, so that we're looking at all alternatives. I'll be talking about that more at next week's meeting with our plan that we will have in place for that. Also, as far as communication, so communication to our public. We know that getting you the most up-to-date information is very important to you, because that way you can plan for your family, for yourself, and for whatever interests that you have. So we're going to continue on with meetings such as this. They'll be at a minimum weekly meetings, and if needed, we'll have more. Also, please like or see my Facebook post. That's really the quickest information that I can get out to you. And also, we're going to be doing them on Reverse 911 as well. and all our other social sites, also press releases as well. So please stay tuned to all those, because we're trying to get you the most updated information in the most time-effective way we possibly can. Some of these things that happened in a very fluid thing. They happened sometimes hourly, depending on the situation, and sometimes they take a little longer, but we're trying to get you the best information we can in the shortest amount of time once we know about it. Also, I cannot thank enough our first responders. That would be our police, our fire, our ambulance, our CERT team, our doctors, our nurses, our CNA, all the volunteers that help, that go and check on our seniors, our neighbors that check on other neighbors, our other neighbor and community people that have given and volunteered time, talent, and resources to our social services food bank, to Carmela's Cupboard that's helping feed our children in need. And the list goes on and on. Those people that pay it forward at the coffee shop or at the store. Everybody working together to keep New Milford strong. As I had posted on our social sites, Councilman Skelly and Mr. McKee over at Designs and Science have made a wonderful sign that we have here on Town Hall, New Milford Strong, which epitomizes our community. We're a strong community. We bond together, especially in times like this, to work together to make our community better. And lastly, I had signed an executive order, and that executive order, as of today, prohibits the air B2B use in the town of New Milford. And the reason for that is because we want to keep our residents safe. We want to make sure that as we're coming into from what our experts are telling us is going to be really where we're really going to see the increases in the COVID-19 people that are going to be infected, as far as numbers that we can see and quantify. Any way that we can as a community to slow that down, we're going to be looking at those opportunities. So as far as the air B2B, we've sent correspondence to those companies to let them know that we're temporarily suspending those air B2Bs. If you have any questions on those, please feel free. You can contact me here at the office at 860-355-6010 or my cell phone 203-788-2619. Also, you can ask me questions in a few minutes, as we're going to be going to the Q&A period in just a moment. Lastly, I want to give you an update. We had our Corona Task Force meeting. We have those weekly, and those meetings include our EOC command that I talked about before. It also has all of our New Milford fire chiefs that are in that, our New Milford ambulance chief and Donna Hespy. It has our New Milford Hospital, Dr. K. It also has probate judge Marty Landry, our superintendent, Dr. Parker. It also has Adam Ricci from Dental Associates. We also have our town senior center, Carolyn Haglin, our social services director, Ivana Butera. It also has our New Milford VNA. It also has Vice Chairman Katie Francis. And it also has Marjorie Felberg. And I'd like to talk about some of the things we have been doing in this task force. We met almost a month prior to this real COVID-19 pandemic really hitting us here on the Northeast. And we've been planning, putting in all our policies and procedures, down almost to a granular level. One of the things that we are working on in this kind of granular level as well is food disruption. So I've asked Marjorie to talk to all of our farms about production of food, what their food production capabilities are. I've also tasked our youth agency, who runs Sullivan Farm, to increase the output there. And also, one of the things we're going to be coming out with next week through our social sites is, in World War II, they came up with what's called victory gardens. So victory gardens were, you actually planted a garden in your front yard, your backyard, your side yard, and we're going to be doing some videos on how to do that, how to plant food, how to do those kind of things. and we'll be talking more about that. Also next week I'll be talking about more as we're going to be setting up a resiliency fund. That's a New Milford resiliency fund that you yourself can donate to. That resiliency fund, some of the things that will be going towards the fund is towards our first responders. It's also going to be, and their needs. It's also going to be going towards food needs if that happens. And that is happening in some aspects for our community as our food bank continues to grow, and also our Carmela's Cupboard that continues to help our children in need. The Board of Education has also set up a free lunch, and that's Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 11 at the Sarah Noble School. So they're also helping all to help those in need. I'll have more next week on our resiliency fund. That'll be on our town website, as well as I'll be talking about it here next week, and also on our social sites. So with that being said, what I'd like to do is kind of turn it over for some questions. First is, so from Paul, do you think the New York Jets, when they start to play again, will still be as horribly as they usually are? Well, Paul, I'm an eternal Jet fan and optimist, and I can tell you, we're going to do great. As a matter of fact, if the season does open, and it does open on time, my prediction is 11-5. So, next is from Christopher. Let's see. Can you tell us how many people, this is from Ruth. Can you tell us how many people in New Milford has had it and how they contacted it? So Ruth, I can tell you, as I spoke in the very beginning of the first part of our meeting, as of the statistics that we have now in the state of Connecticut has 1,291 confirmed cases, 173 hospitalizations, and that's a total in the state. And Litchfield County has 52 confirmed cases. New Milford has 12 confirmed cases. 1 is hospitalized, and the rest are recuperating at home through self-quarantine. Terry said, are these 12 confirmed town-wide, or are they mostly in one area? So they are town-wide, Terry. They're in different parts. There's just not one cluster of just a bunch of people in one particular part of town. Let's see what other questions we have here coming in. Please feel free as we're looking to ask any questions. And then there's this from Krister. I think many of us are wondering if there are any plans to tighten our borders to New York like Rhode Island has already done. We are in an even higher risk area than them. So Christopher, we had our conference call, numerous ones, with the governor, and selectmen and mayors were asking the governor that exact same question, what the concerns were. And this would have to be something that the governor would have to call upon. And right now he is evaluating the situation. One of the things that they did mention was they were doing Connecticut counts on the road, and that seemed to be a dramatic difference in people moving back and forth from New York to Connecticut, and also the trains. They had stated it was about 95% off of train ridership. So they were looking at that closely. So that would be something that the governor would be looking to do. What I can say is if you are listening to this and you are a person, no matter where you came from, that are coming into Connecticut, New Milford especially, and you're coming in, and please self-quarantine yourself for 14 days. That'd be very important for not only yourself and your family, but the New Milford community as well. Judy, thank you for the update. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. We'll continue to do these at least weekly, and as I said before, if needed, we'll do these more often as well. Also, I'd like to thank our state representative Bill Buckby and our state senator Craig Minor. I've been in contact with them on at least a bi-weekly basis about the needs, especially from our business community and for our constituents at a state level. So I can't thank Bill, I can't thank Craig enough as we continue to work on these partnerships, especially when we're going to be needing dollars to New Milford. So I can't thank them enough for that. I'm scrolling down here, sorry for a moment, to see if we have any more questions as we're talking. From Jeannie, we are limiting the number of customers in stores, Walmart, Stop and Shop at any given time. So right now there are some stores that are doing the limit. I believe the recommendation was 80 in a store. There are also some stores that some convenience stores that have shut down to actually go in and you can use window service. I know the Consumer Sunoco on Route 202 has done that, and there may be some other stations to follow. So this is kind of on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour basis. So please check in. As I've said before, when you do go to stores or any other place, please do the recommendation social distance. That's 6 feet from one another. And also, the most important thing you can do, according to the experts, is hand hygiene. And that is wash your hands as much as you can. 20 if you're doing it under the spigot, 20 seconds under the spigot. Make sure you do under your fingernails as well. And that will be a tremendous help for not only you and your family, but for the community. I'd also like to thank Litchfield Distillery for giving us hand sanitizer that they've made. We can't thank them enough. We've put them throughout different parts of our town hall and our other buildings. And I know they've been giving those to some of our nonprofits and other entities here in New Milford as well. So I cannot thank them enough for reaching out and giving us those supplies. So thank you to Litchfield Distillery and Tony Vengrove for helping out. Let's see. From Jones, will school reopen for the rest of the year? So that's a great question, Jeannie. So, I'm sorry, this is from Joan. So the governor had put an executive order that the schools will remain closed until April 20th. They're going to reassess as we move forward. As I said, the medical experts are thinking that the height of the increase in people being tested positive will be these next 3 weeks. So I know the Board of Education, I know the State Board of Education and the governor are really looking at these numbers and then will assess and update us. On a positive note, as the kids are out of school, they're learning a new way of learning, and that's long distance learning. I know the Board of Ed has been, and the superintendent have been working hard on creating that program for our town and implementing it, and then looking at things that is working and not working and kind of refining that. So moving forward, I wish I had a more definitive answer for you, but that's kind of where we are as far as schools and will they reopen. As I'm scrolling again. I'd also like to just remind the public again that the best thing you can do as yourself and your family is to stay home as much as you can. Only go out for things that you absolutely need to do. As I said, that's going to the store, getting your essentials. If you can, pick up from a restaurant or have them delivered to you. And also go out, get a little bit of exercise, but then keep your social distance. It's very important as we try, as everyone is, all the experts are saying, is to flatten the curve so that we don't put continued and additional pressures on our medical personnel. That's the most important thing. We want to make sure that we keep our doctors and our nurses and our medical staff as safe as possible as they're going through, some of these hospitals are going through a very traumatic time. So it's very important that we all do our part in getting this done. And the more that we can do this, hopefully the quicker this can go down, and we can look at different opportunities of restarting normalcy to our lives. But first and foremost, we need to make sure that we're safe, our community is safe, and we can work on this together, keeping it, as the sign says out front, New Milford Strong. From Megan, will these meetings be on a regular schedule so people know when to tune in? I caught it by accident today. I believe it would be tuned in if it was scheduled and advertised better. So Megan, we're going to be trying to do these on a Saturday. As we've said before, 11 a.m. is kind of what we're looking at. We will do more of these if needed. Also, you can check for updated information before that, either on my Facebook page. We'll also be doing reverse 911s and also our other town social pages. One of the things we talked about was our parks. And also I'd like to thank State Representative Buckby, because he also is the director over at Harrybrook. So he wanted to let us know that they are still remaining open and are monitoring the volume of people. So I appreciate that, Representative Buckby. It's a great place to take a walk. It's nice and flat. I've walked there myself. As I said, if we could just keep the social distancing, we don't want to overwhelm our parks, because that would be then an issue that we would have to look at as far as limiting those. So if we can keep the parks open, use them, but do your exercise, then get back to the house if you possibly can, so that other people can use those as well. Because we want to make sure to keep these open as long as we possibly can, but we also want to keep the health and safety of our residents, because that's first and foremost and paramount. From Terry, do we know how and where these people have contacted it? Are they townspeople or people that came from out of town living here temporarily? So Terry, right now, from the information that I have been made aware of, is that these are New Milford residents. As far as the availability, there's HIPAA rules. Those are government rules that we really can't talk about certain diseases or how people contracted those. What we can do is put the numbers out. So there's kind of a line that we really can't talk too much about, especially about the identities of people that have contracted the COVID-19. I can tell you, as far as a safety net for our first responders, is we do have the capability of knowing where they are. So if a first responder, whether that be police, fire, ambulance, had to go to that home of someone that did have that, they are aware of it, so that they can properly have the right PPE together. So that would be a mask, gowns, gloves, so they would be fully prepared for that. So that's a system that we've put in place, and I can't thank our team for that, especially our dispatchers. Our dispatchers have been doing a phenomenal job. They're part of our emergency management plan, and they're doing a wonderful job, and I can't thank them enough as well. Thank you to our dispatchers. Next, we talked about, from Pat Erickson, talked about disinfectant. So what we're doing is we do have a disinfectant. We have been doing that on a regular basis from our facilities team. They've been doing that on a daily basis and doing deep cleaning. So as I said before, I can't thank our facilities department enough for continuing to keep our town facilities disinfected as best as they possibly can. From let's see. From the House of Warmth, from Nairi, can you tell me if some of the first to contact this virus in New Milford have recovered? So I can tell you, yes. One of the first people that did have, that was tested positive, is recovering from home and doing a wonderful job, so yes. From what the experts have told us, is that 80% of these cases with virus, most people don't even know that they do have it or have very small symptoms. But unfortunately, for the other 20% that are either elderly or have underlying conditions, whether it be diabetes or whether it be heart condition or some kind of pulmonary lung condition, this virus tends to affect that particular population tremendously. So that's why we're doing all these things, to see if we can, with social distancing, with staying at home, to see if we can mitigate the transference, especially to those populations. I'd also like to thank our senior center, Carolyn Haglin, our director, as they've been working yeoman's job in not only fielding the calls from our seniors, but also providing food and medical needs to them, going door to door, and that's in partnership with our youth agency as well. So we're working partnerships collaboratively within our own departments to really help our community here in New Milford. So I can't thank them all for that. Let's see, from Robert. Could you say a few supportive words to our young people listening in? Absolutely. I can't, as I said, I can't thank all of our community, whether you're young, old, middle-aged, have a business here, lived here for 100, your family's lived here 100 years, or you've been here for 6 months. We can't thank you enough for everything everybody's doing. And as for our youth, I want to let you know that we're going to get through this. I had a very interesting conversation with a senior woman. Actually, I'm not going to give her age, but it was, I'm going to say, above 85. And one of the things that she told me, she said, Pete, we've been through a lot. We've been through World War II. We've been through polio. We've been through measles. We've been through numerous wars, Vietnam, Iran, Iraq. We've been through all these things, and we've managed not only to survive, but to thrive. So to our young people, to let them know, we will be okay. The town will be okay. We're going to continue to work together as a wonderful community, as a special community, and we're all going to pull together. And what I mean by that is, we're going to practice our social distancing. We're going to check on our neighbors. And how do we check on our neighbors? We give them a call or we email them, especially our seniors, and ask them if they need any assistance. We're going to do what we can with our own families. And we're going to do it in a positive light, and we will get through it. There will be challenging times ahead. As I said before, our experts have said, at least for our area, the next 3 weeks are going to be very important when it comes to additional COVID-19 people testing positive, but we will get through it. The town itself, as I've said many times, has plans and procedures in place, and we're going to continue to work on those, and if needed, add additional ones. But rest assured, we're going to get through this together, because that's how New Milford is. And I say, best town in the USA. From Joanne, where can we bring boxes of gloves? So Joanne, thank you first for wanting to donate. And you can do so, you can drop them off at Town Hall. If you could call the mayor's office at 860-355-6010 or my cell phone, 203-788-2619, before you come to Town Hall, because we do have Town Hall locked. I can then come down, meet you outside, and I can grab the gloves and personally thank you for your donation. And that's the same for anybody else that would like to donate, whether it be for Carmela's Cupboard, which you could do either online, or you can bring it here to Town Hall, and we'll gladly get those. And for those to, again, what Carmela's Cupboard is this is a program that helps our children that are in need of food assistance, especially lunch. As we had said before, on some of these town hall meetings that we have, is 25% of our student population is on free lunch, and a big segment is a little above that. So the need, the food insecurity, has been here for New Milford for quite some time. And 2 years ago, we took on this endeavor when we were looking at planning as to, in the summertime, if these children aren't at school, do they get a hot meal or do they get food? So we took on this challenge. Angie Chastain has been running this and doing a fantastic job with her volunteers. So Carmela's Cupboard, matter of fact, they just did it again last night, and I believe there were close to 300 giving outs that they were doing again. And that's in tandem with our schools. So it's very important. So any donations that you can do, you can either do it online at Carmela's Cupboard, or you can call and we can come down and pick up your donations here at Town Hall as well. And I can't thank the community for everything. We also have a lot of people donating to our own food bank down at Social Services. And Ivana Butera and her team has done a phenomenal job. And I can't thank them for what they're doing each and every day as well. The culinary, also we got something too. The culinary school also needs funds. And they are supplying meals from our senior citizens. So Tammy, that's a great thank you reminder. Is our culinary school run by Don Hamicott is doing a phenomenal job. They are a nonprofit. And what they normally do, not in times of crisis, but they train people that want to learn culinary arts so that they can get a job in the culinary business community. And she's done a wonderful job, has had tremendous and numerous classes, and I believe high 90% rate she's been able to get her graduates jobs. So phenomenal job there. What they do is they supply our seniors with meals. We've contracted them through the senior center to do that, so I can't thank them. And they are also another entity that is looking for funding as well. You can look them up on the site. And if I could ask if you could look that up and put it on the site too, the culinary school. And I can't thank Dawn and her team so much for doing that. And thank you for reminding it. Let's see. Also, the United Way. The United Way here in Western Connecticut. And Katie Francis, our vice chairman, is running that in this particular area here, so I can't thank Katie and the United Way. They've done some amazing things and continue to do so, from food banks to backpacks for our kids to food to our food bank, just numerous things, to building savings accounts for those in need and learning financial stability, a whole host of things. I could spend the next 15 minutes on that. But thank you to the United Way and their efforts. And as you can see, this is just a full community effort. Everybody coming together, from our town government to our nonprofits to our business community. It's all everybody working together, because that's how we're going to get through this. And on the other side, continue to move our town forward. Let's see, from Holly Newman, are you able to work from home? You need to stay safe, and thank you for all you're doing. Oh, thank you, Holly. I really appreciate that. Currently, my function is I'm working the majority of the time out of town hall when I'm not assessing other things within the town government. I'm very thankful to our facilities committee that continues to do deep cleanings on a daily basis here at town hall. And I can't thank them enough. So right now, currently, I'm operating as I have before out of town hall and continuing to do business. So thank you for those kind words, Holly. And as I said, we're all going to continue to work together. As we're waiting for a couple more questions to pop through, another just as a reminder what you can do yourself. And that is some things. The most important is the hand hygiene, and that is wash your hands as many times as you can during the day. If you're going to use soap and water, that's under the spigot, preferably for 20 seconds. Make sure that you get under your nails. If that's not available, if you can use hand sanitizer, that's a really important thing. Also, to practice social distancing, that's to stay 6 feet away. And also try to get a little bit of exercise for yourself and for your family. But when you get done with those exercises, please go back to your home. That way other people can use, whether it be a park or a destination walk, so that we're not overcrowding and causing social distance. Okay, so we got something here from Rena Goldman. The employees at the recycling center have been so helpful. So I'm glad to hear that, Rena. They are wonderful people down there at recycling. the employee base down there, and I can't thank them enough for all of their hard work, as well as our DPW team. They've done a yeoman's job. They continue to go out each and every day and making sure that our roadway systems are safe, and that we're making sure that we have the proper pushback and brush. Our sight lines are cleared. If they're potholes, our potholes are filled. And I cannot thank them enough for what they do each and every day. A phenomenal job. I cannot thank, as I said, our town employees enough for what they do for our community each and every day. Without them, the government doesn't run. So thank you. Next is she also asks, is there a way to modify the process? This is for recycling, so that we can swipe our own credit cards and not sign for the transaction during this time. So, Rena, we are looking into how to do that, and hopefully we can have just a different or better method as we go into the next week. And I'll be posting that on our social sites as well, so thank you for that. From Lisa, here are some of the farms offering products now. Clatter Valley has eggs, Hit Farm eggs and meat, Maple Farm has meat, Kimberly Farm has numerous products, and you can check that out at the NMFFPC Facebook page, and they have a full list of our farms. Helping our farmers, local farmers, is another wonderful thing you can do to support our local farmers here in New Milford. And as I spoke about a little bit before in our planning sessions, we've talked about if there is food, any kind of food disruptions, that through our farmers we should be able to help feed our community and also for those in less need. So thank you, Lisa, for letting us know about those farms. And like I said, if you have an opportunity to support them and buy from them, that would be very wonderful thing for you to do, as well as support our restaurants here in town and our local businesses that are open, or those that can ship to you. Any support you could do to our business community and farming community would be greatly appreciated. And the NMFFPC, for those that don't know, is the New Milford Farmland and Forest Preservation Committee, and they're on Facebook. And I can't thank them enough for all of their efforts as we're going through this pandemic as well. Also, the New Milford Police Department under Chief Cerruto has started kind of not a program, but a wonderful thing. It's a New Milford Strong, and you can check them out on their Facebook page. They've been asking the kids to kind of either draw with stuff they have at home or rocks or whatever they have, and just do a kind of a positive poster about the community and the New Milford Police. And they've gotten many responses, and I can't thank everybody that's done that enough. And if you check their Facebook page, you will see a lot of the young kids, is when they get the police department get those pictures in, they put them out. So it's just a wonderful thing to see from our community. Kind of a inspiring thing too is we had that little bit of snow the other day, and we had the same, I believe, individuals that did the snowmen on the green. Last time we had a pretty big snowstorm, went ahead and did it this year too. And that was kind of put a smile on a lot of people's face as they saw that as well. And it's just everybody doing just little small things. As I said, comforting your neighbor, checking on your neighbor, doing small things, paying things forward, helping our business community and our farming community that just makes our town just so special. Also, for those that do have Facebook, our New Milford teens have done a wonderful, and YouTube have done a wonderful YouTube thing, thanking our people here in New Milford for what they do during this pandemic. I'm also going to put that on my Facebook page as well, and I can't thank them enough for thinking of our community in that way. And it's through the spirit, as I said before, not being too redundant, of every sect of our community, whether it be young, old, middle-aged, business community, been here for a long time or a short time. It's everybody pushing and pulling together that just makes the place special. And I can't thank everybody enough for doing that. Let's see. Also, yes, I'd also like to thank Big Y, Stop and Shop, or ShopRite, sorry, and the market at Northville for having senior hours that allow seniors a little bit of time to go in and shop and get their stuff in a more selective way. So I can't thank those businesses for doing that. I believe there'll be some more coming online doing the same thing. So I'd like to thank those that started this. I believe Walmart is doing that now as well. So I can't thank these businesses enough for doing that. It's a wonderful thing to allow, and Aldi's, that allow our seniors an opportune time to go in and shop, get what they need, and then get out, because they are part of, as I talked about earlier, part of the group that this COVID-19 seems to really attack the hardest. That and people with underlying conditions, which would be a heart condition, a pulmonary condition, diabetes. So that tends to affect those more. So I can't thank these businesses enough to have a special time allotted for that. And as I said before, lastly is the things that you can do: hand hygiene, social distancing, staying at home as much as you possibly can, doing a little bit of an exercise. These things will make a tremendous impact as we continue to go through this pandemic. As I said before, lastly, as the medical experts have said, these next 3 weeks will really be ones that are going to show the numbers do increase dramatically. So everything that we can do to mitigate those, especially here for New Milford, the better that we can do. And we have something here from Representative Buckby: best town in the USA. I agree with you, State Representative. We do have the best town in the USA. Wonderful people, wonderful community, and we're going to continue to work for that in a strong and effective way, working together, pulling together, and as the sign out front of Town Hall says, New Milford strong. And lastly, any opportunities that you can to donate to any of our worthwhile causes, whether it be our own food bank at Social Services, whether it be at Carmela's Cupboard, or whether it be through the United Way, whether it be through any of our other nonprofits that are doing tremendous things, please do so. The more we can do, the more we can help. I'll be following up again during the week with additional information through our social sites. Facebook is probably the quickest one that you will see the most news coming on the quickest. If need be, we'll do another one of these town halls during the week. If not, we'll do this again next week. I can't thank you enough. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless the best town in the USA, New Milford, Connecticut. Thank you.